If you or someone you know has diabetes, you may have built up an extra supply of test strips and lancets. That's where we come in. We'll buy the supplies that you don't need and resell them to those in need to prevent waste. Help us make diabetes management more affordable. Visit us at teststripswithaz.com.
All right, we have Alex Hernandez joining us. He is a part of the Fighters for Freedom tour we've been highlighting here at MyMMAnews.com, visiting our troops in the Middle East in conjunction with our friends at Armed Forces Entertainment. Alex, good to see you. How are you, man?
Good to see you, brother. How are you, Mike?
I'm doing great. So, being from San Antonio like you are, there's obviously a huge military presence in that area. So to be a part of something like this, to, bring a little something extra to these brave men and women who can't be home in the States during the holidays, what has this experience been like for you?
Man, it's been incredible, dude. It's been a super profound experience. Big shout out to Amanda Early and Armed Forces Entertainment for giving me this opportunity because, I know a lot about a little, and political climates, conflicts, and geography are not among them. So this has been extremely eye-opening for me, and I've learned a mess of information about the Middle East cultures, customs, and one of the biggest things I think is forming opinions for yourself instead of just kind of leaning on the perceptions of others. And so this has been a really awesome experience for me, and then also just learning about the branches of the military and the hierarchy within those, and as well as dude. I'm with these 4 other guys, 3 UFC fighters, 1 Bellator, and we're thick as thin now. These are my brothers, so it's been a pretty awesome experience. It really, really has across the board.
Amanda does an amazing job. She's been doing this for a long time, bringing different groups of fighters overseas to do these really cool things. How did you get involved in this? How did this all come together to have you come out there?
It's funny actually. So I just got out of my surgery on my shoulder from that labrum tear I had before my last fight, and so I was sitting on the couch with my manager Jason House with Iridium, and he was like, "Hey, they just had a fighter pull out on this tour. Do you want to fill in?" And I was just kind of half narcotic out, just recovering from the surgery. You want to be in the Middle East in 2 months? And I'm like, yeah, fuck it, why not, dude? I got nothing better to do. And so I agreed, and then it was funny. It was it was November, I don't know, 12th or something, and I get a message "Hey, you ready to start our tour in 12 days?" So I'm like, "Oh shit, that's already here. Yeah, all right, let's go." And so I literally just packed up a bag of shit I was ready to lose essentially, and just got on the plane and got going. And so I'm just kind of like an all-in kind of cat. So it's been fun, man, and I'm fortunate that I happen to be just at the right place at the right time to be able to, get the slot to come over because, I don't have any wife or kids. So the availability for me to do something like this is there. And it's an awesome chance that you don't really get often,
So, I've been sort of following along the tour on your Instagram and all the other fighters' Instagrams. And, I talked to Carla Esparza the other day. She's told me about some of the cool things you guys have been able to do, the shooting simulation, a lot of grappling, obviously, even the attack dog drills. Were you one of the fighters attacked by the dog? What was that like?
Yeah, I was the first one out there, dude. Yeah, I was the first one out there. And so, it was funny though, and I was a little reluctant because of the shoulder. I was like, I don't know if having this ferocious looking German Shepherd rip me to the ground is a great call, but fuck it. And so I did it. And fortunately, I was the first one to go because after I went, Smolka went and Carla went. Then they pulled out this fucking psychotic dog, and they threw that dog on Vinc Pichel and Shane Krutchen, and those guys had this the dog was borderline, Cujo rabies affected. The dog was wild. I've never seen a dog so crazy. It was just so excited to just bite the jugular of somebody, and so I'm glad I missed that dog for sure. But yeah, it was a great time, and honestly, the guns were cool, the dogs were cool. The missiles were cool. I just want to get on a camel, man. I've been just trying to mount a camel, and that's it hasn't come to fruition yet. I'm working on it, but I'm just trying to do some some true Eastern things like that. I'm trying to get on that camel. So hopefully the commander can pull some strings tomorrow or the next day before we take off. But yeah, it's been a pretty badass trip so far.
What is with the fighters wanting to get on a camel so badly? Carla said the same thing. She wanted to get on a camel. That's the thing they want to do. Are you guys in a group? You all want to jump on a camel at this point?
Camel jokes, and we haven't been able to break different accents and stupid things we've been doing, bits that we've been running for this whole tour, and I don't know if it was just I I don't know. It kind of started out as a joke, and then it became like reality. And then we started placing like wages around camels and things. And so now it's like, look, I need to like at least get on one if I'm not bringing one home. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know why that's become such like the central focus of our trip, but it definitely has. But yeah, it's outside of that, I was trying to think about what else is something that we've like talked about doing that we haven't done yet. I don't know. I'll probably come up with another idea that we've been working on, but yeah, it's been pretty cool. Kuwait was probably like, we were there the longest, so we were able to do the most. Qatar, we were just kind of like bouncing back and forth, and then like we just got into Djibouti yesterday, and Djibouti's crazy. I thought like, you know, a gang of mosquitoes were about to rob me at gunpoint or something. They're like these big, fierce, you know, like beasts out here. There's flies everywhere. There's mosquitoes. It's humider than shit. If they don't take us out, the black mold might, but otherwise, like the troops are super cool and the base is accommodating, and the commander's awesome. He smoked Lewis today. Lewis Smolka killed him in a race because you know, Lewis is from Hawaii, so he had like he was talking a big game about swimming, and so the commander, like the head chief here on the base, has the fastest mile time. And so he like came out in a Speedo and challenged Lewis in a race and just smoked him. And so that was probably like the most glorifying experience of the trip so far.
Oh man, how did Lewis react to all that?
Yeah, no, he about died, man. So he's just like a hard Hawaiian swimmer. He's not like the most technical, you know, being in the water. And so he was like swallowing water on like the third lap because he just swims and he doesn't breathe. And so his head's underwater the whole time, and like the commander's kind of like playing with him and everything. And I think like Lewis just kind of smoked himself out by the end, but he took it on the chin like a good sport for sure.
There you go. How was Thanksgiving with the troops? Like to be able to make their holiday a little bit brighter, add a cool element to their day since they can't be home with their families and friends. Like fair to say this is a Thanksgiving you'll remember for quite some time?
Oh, 1,000%, man. It was an awesome time in Qatar. We had like a really good morning roll with everybody. We've done a couple of 2-a-days. That was one. So we had a morning roll with some of the troops. That was actually really fun base too. It wasn't the biggest turnout we've had, but it was like maybe one of the most technical and the most appreciative of the sport. Like everybody came in rash guards. You know, we had like maybe 15, 20 guys in each sitting, and they were all rash guard out. They were asking, you know, for specific technical corrections and things, as opposed to just kind of like put your head down and just go. You know, they were really interested in the art itself, and so it was a lot of fun. And then we were able to have kind of like a brunch type timing meal with a lot of the higher ups and a big fleet of guys out there. And then we had like a quick tour of the base, and then we had like a meal with a lot of like the contractors and like the foreign employees and things like that. So we were able to eat with them. And then we had another roll session with some more troops at night. So, I mean, it was a really full day. It was a really fulfilling day. It was awesome. It was definitely one for the books. You know, I mean, we had one meal where we ate like, I guess we probably had like 3 meals total that day as far as Thanksgiving meals. And then we had like a 2 a.m. munch out session also. But yeah, we ate everywhere. We ate from like inside of like these like pretty nice halls to like eating out on the rocks, you know. So we were with everybody at different points in time, and it was awesome just getting to talk to people and hear their stories and you know, just try to, you know, learn a little bit about them and their culture. So it was definitely an enlightening day.
You mentioned that, you know, it's given you a little bit of an outlook on geography and politics and things like that, the hierarchy of the military. Has this experience in other ways given you a different outlook on life about how things are back home, being able to experience something different like this? Have you been able to take a lot of other things away from this experience as well?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Like what I was saying, just like kind of like perceptions of the Middle East and kind of like what you accept. I mean, or what you accept or what you expect versus like what it actually is. I mean, like there's just a lot of stereotypes that kind of run rampant. Then you're out here, and then you kind of realize how approachable some people are, or just how accommodating some people are. You definitely have an appreciation for how we have it back home. I mean, for sure. You kind of knew you were going to have that coming out here already. But like for me, just one of the coolest things is getting to really like understand the military better, understand our stake in the Middle East, understand the history behind it, again, the different branches, and then getting like a lot of just even newfound respect for even like just the I guess the processes of day-to-day life for the military. And then going into like the Middle Easterners, like being able to talk to them and like there's some that, of course, are like, I guess, really reserved and maybe not approachable at all. Not really like don't seem too pro-American. But then there's others that are like ultra affable and accommodating, and they're just like excited to speak to us, like we're excited to speak to them. So that's cool. And I guess as far as like the difference between us here and there, I mean, it really did. When we first dropped into Kuwait, man, it felt like we were like in the upside down world or something. Like it was like everything was just polar opposite. Like the way that people operate, the way they move, like everything happens at night. It feels like people don't really get started until like 11:30. And it's like we'll be out there and it'll be like almost lunchtime and it'll be a completely empty like beach, or just like the halls will be empty because we'll get some time in between like little base runs where we might have the morning to ourselves and we'll spend the rest of the days in the base. And it was just kind of weird walking through these like Middle Eastern ghost towns, or just seeing people that like are exiled to the deserts and they spend their whole life in tents out in the desert. Like it's just there's definitely just some shock factors out here, but it is like almost opposite of America. So yeah, you definitely get an appreciation for like, wow, we have like some pretty sweet accommodations back home for sure.
Being a top 15 UFC fighter in one of the most loaded divisions, plus you're a gym owner yourself, you do some coaching, I'm sure, as well. What have you made of the grappling levels of the troops from a fighter's perspective, from a coach's perspective, from a gym owner's perspective?
Yeah, I mean it's I mean they're pretty novice for sure, but they've got spirit. They got tenacity and heart for sure. And we were talking to it was funny when we were in Kuwait, we're leaving, one of the guys was like, "Oh, anybody catch you yet?" I'm like, "Absolutely not, bro. This isn't a game of chance. Nobody's catching me out here. Okay, I'm not getting fucking caught out here by like some random military guy." But it's exciting to have like some guys are really humble and modest. Other guys are really hot-headed and just like, they're just a bunch of alphas out here pumping weights and like getting ruck runs and like hoorahing, with their units. And so they'll come out there real hot-headed and just put their head down and go. And so it's really fun, like just tossing those dudes and tapping them. And then afterwards, like being able to meet them on an even playing field, being like, "Hey, here's what you're doing wrong. Let's learn now." And then being able to teach them, and then them grow and them get excited. And even people that are like on the outside, that are like, I don't really do this shit, man. I don't want to get out there. It's like, well, just give it a try, man. Because it's like, if there's any time to learn, it's right now with us. Like you couldn't be in better hands. And then whatever you learn one tidbit today, and it'll put you legs above your peers. So just come out here and give it a try. And kind of seeing that confidence grow within people is really powerful too, and empowering. So that's been pretty awesome. But there's been, dude, we found some gyms though, for sure. Like each base we've gone to, there's been like maybe a brown belt from back home, or we met a guy from Jackson Wink's gym, some AT&T guys that are out here, American Top Team. There's been like a good handful of like each base. You'll get some like ex wrestlers, either collegiate or high school. And so, there's like a decent little round of guys that are really excited to be able to get their hands on you and then learn from you. So, I mean, it's been a pretty fun, diverse pool for the most part, though. You're not finding any, Gracies out here.
So how is obviously you're back, you did some PT, you're rolling again, obviously with the troops, you were getting some training in before you came out. How is the shoulder held up? How is the shoulder feeling right now?
Man, actually, brother, this has been the most aggressive that I've like the most aggressive workload I've placed on it since the surgery. So I've been I've been hitting it hard for 2 weeks now, where we've been doing at least one a day, and we'll be on the mat for an hour plus, and just having a fresh body on us every round. So it's been holding up pretty well. It's starting to definitely feel the stresses of that and the fatigue of it. I've already like talked to my coach, to my manager, because it's been a good eye opener for me on just like, hey, here's maybe where that shoulder's actually at, and maybe I don't need to rush it as aggressively as I like to. I get real ambitious, and sometimes that ambition, makes me impatient. And so this has been a good eye opener. Like, okay, you're coming. I'm coming at it super aggressively. I just hit my 3-month marker, and I'm already doing all this. And so I've been rehabbing like a madman. Even you know me, I'm a workhorse. So even out here, I've been like rehabbing and running to do all these things. So I'm trying to come back to the States, better than I left, and in better form with my shoulder. I think the more that I'm talking to people, and just the way that the fights that I was trying to line up or starting to look like they might line up, I'll probably be aiming for March now. But the shoulder is improving. It's not 100%. It's not where I need it to be, but it's improving, and it's definitely carrying a lot of workload on this trip.
I saw you're not very active on Twitter. Once in a while, you jump on there and you throw some stuff out there. Obviously, you called out Anthony Pettis. He got a fight booked. Was there any talks about you fighting Anthony Pettis at all? Because I had heard rumblings that something got put on the table. Your shoulder may not have been ready to go.
Yeah. The reason I got on the idea was I got the offer to fight him in December, like December 15th. Shelby was like, "Hey, do you want Pettis?" And I'm like, "There's no way I can be remotely ready by December to fight Pettis." I just had surgery in September, so like the idea of getting that arm 100% and then getting in a fight shape is like that'd be beyond impossible, in a couple months. So, I was so excited though just to be in that realm of conversation. I was honored to get the offer. It's still kind of like a shock to me whenever I get those fucking offers. It's crazy. So I got real fired up on that idea, and I've been thinking about it a lot. And so I just figured, hopefully by February I'd be about ready. And maybe that was a little ambitious too, but I just thought I should shoot my shot and go big or go home. So I just made the call.
Well, I mean, yeah. It works. I mean, obviously March is a little ways away, but it gives you time to heal up a little bit more. You've developed these like different skills. Especially on the mental side of things, you've learned how to be a little more patient, how to pick your shots a little bit better. That's one of the things that you've been able to work on heading into your last fight. Do you feel like you've been able to work on that and improve that even more so during this time off?
Yeah, a bit. Definitely. Like the mental work is the work that has to be kind of focused on the most right now, and just growing even more in patience in everything you do. And I've been doing like a lot of breath work, like Wim Hof work. And then just, once I was able to get my feet under me and run again, it was like, okay, I almost fell back to life right then. So I've been working on all the little things, timing, footwork, range control, precision, all head movement, defense. And so a lot of these things that don't take a lot of strain on the arm. And then, like I said, this has been really exciting because it's the most grappling I've done since my surgery. So being able to see the strength in this is fun. Occasionally being able to put my hands on my pals here that are on the trip with me, is really fun, and sharing ideas and then getting some licks on them when I can, kind of keeps that fire going and excites me for, getting ready faster than like maybe what was expected. But, yeah, I'm working on what I can for sure. I'm working on what I can.
So now that Pettis is off the table, who's out there for you that makes sense?
Yeah, I'm looking at the guys that I booked. And most of them are, whether they've been announced or not, they are. And so the guy that seems available is Iaquinta. So I'm already have my manager trying to get him for me in March. I'd like to fight Al. I'm not sure if there's really too many other free options right now. But whoever, man, I just need Al's the top 10. And so that's like a perfect shot for me,
I have to know, because of the group of people you have out there, I've interviewed pretty much all of them at this point, who's been the biggest ball buster out there amongst the fighters? Has it been Carla? Seems like she could be up there, but who do you think's the biggest troublemaker, so to speak?
Oh man, Shane fucking drives me crazy. He's our ex-military, and that dude talks so much shit everywhere we go to the current military. And thank God he's a Purple Heart recipient. He's done his. But I'm like, dude, I say this all the time. I say it jokingly, but I'm like, dude, thank God you got blown up. Otherwise, I swear to God, these guys would shoot you with the shit that comes out of your mouth. He makes me so uncomfortable half the time. And I'll just be there like, God, dude, you can't say that. So, but man, I'm telling you, like, we all immediately, like since Germany, and we're not even stationed. We had a layover or a connecting flight there in Germany, and that's whenever we all came together. And out the gate, we were already, thick as thieves. I mean, we were there, and we just for the sake of being in Germany, we had to get a big ale, right? So we get a big German beer. We're maybe like 2 big German beers deep, and we had like already a woman come up to us and just be like, "You don't belong here." And we're like, "What?" What? And so we've just been like obnoxious as shit since then, man. And we've just been like on this like tour of laughter together and just really enjoying it. And you know, it's cool having someone like Vinc with me. He's another 155, of course, and he's been in this longer than I have. And so having someone like him as like a brother of mine now, like helping me with information, giving me some more intel, and working with me has been awesome. Louis Smolka being a swift 35er, and then, you know, even Shane, who's a little bit bigger guy. And then Carla's a little fucking pistol, man. She's the most testosterone filled one out of all of us, hands down. Carla's like the most wild little cat you could ever like hope to tame. Like she's a monster. And so I mean, everybody's got their dynamic, but we've gone along like family. It's been awesome for sure. And everybody's got like something they can contribute. So it's been cool.
That's amazing,
it's
man.
really cool.
It's amazing. The tour's been amazing to follow along. Kudos to you for heading out there and doing what you've been doing. I think it's phenomenal, and hopefully the shoulder holds up. We could see you back in the octagon in March. But I appreciate the time, man. Always great catching up with you. Before we let you go, let the folks know where they can find and follow you on the web, social media. Anything else you want to say to the folks back home here? I know you're going to be heading back pretty soon, but the floor is yours, man.
Man, yeah, no, I appreciate the time, Mike. You can always follow me at the Great 155. Check out Hunt Academy Northeast, my gym. And then, like I said earlier, I think the biggest thing that you can do with all this and what it just like continues to instill in me is that like you need to experience things for yourself. You need to try to step out of your comfort zone. You need to like be daring with introductions and travel and try to form your own opinions instead of lean on the perceptions of others. And I think that's like one of the greatest lessons out of all of this. And so I just advocate that to all. And again, thanks for the time, Mike. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. Safe travels and enjoy the last couple days there. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks, brother.